Hello, welcome again. This is our last video for Black Sun miniatures for this Barbarian, and this time we're going to focus on the different elements, for example the veil, fur and the hair. We are starting always with a shadow color. It will be easier than start with a middle tone and vary the light and the shadow to avoid work more later. If we start with a shadow, just we'll go up the lights. After this, we will see if we need add more shadows. Remember that part we'll use the airbrush, but this is my own way of working. First element, we will paint the fur. We are going to paint with a new color formula that's appeared below. It's an easy exercise to practice to understand that you don't need only paint with the color directly from the pot. You can create your own mixes. Remember that we are inside in a cave and the lights come from the torches. We are in a warm ambient. I call this process as copy bases. This starts as a joke, but it's about my own way of painting that I have developed after many years being as a professional painter. I don't use glazes, I don't like it. The copy bases are to apply the paint with a little of water, 1 or 2 drops in the mix, to cover the area with 1 or 2 brush strokes. Not more, okay? In the next videos, I'll show you a paper where you can see the difference. We continue with the first lights. How I do it? Adding a little bit ivory to the mix. Remember, mixing these colors, we are creating a brown with some orange and yellow. This mix will remember us the torches that illuminate the scene. If you add ivory directly on the miniature, you will have a very dark color and on the top a very light color, and you have to mix with middle tones. It's better, but it's better start with a dark color and go up the light. Add always a little bit ivory to the mix, but without reaching just the color. Fur is always painted by tuff, never hair by hair. It's easier paint by tuff to draw them. To add more light, we keep adding the ivory. Remember, little by little. For me, do the color mixes. It's the funniest part of the painting miniatures. You should try it. Also, there are small nuances that makes a figure different from any other. We get more light with ivory, adding a little more of water. After this, we'll see if we need to adjust some areas with the brush or the airbrush. Most important part right now is draw the sculpture. The fur in this case with the tuff by tuff technique. Here you can see how I do it. What interests us is to create slings to give naturalness. If we make vertical lines, we lose the weight on the fur, and the tufts will not look realistic. Always remember that we have to paint both up stuff and down ones. Always we forget that part, and the people will tell you that you only paint with your airbrush. Don't make that mistake. Another important element of the miniature are the edges. When the sculpture don't have the edges, we have to create those, okay, with vertices. How? Picking tap off the top of the belt, drawing them, and that way that visually separate themselves from the skin. We draw again the sculpture, even when it doesn't exist. Actually, you can do it with the material that you like, leather, clothes, and when you know it, we'll use orange to create our tone. Let's play with him to add in more light to the mix. I use it medium flesh to create little more light in every zone. And after draw the fur, it's time to paint the belt. We have to start drawing each circle. Remember that we always start with dark color, so we use it for the base, and with the light color to paint the edges. If you don't go through the rivets, do it with the belt and his lines. Now comes the hardest part, belt medallions. They are very small and it may seem difficult, but I encourage you to paint. We can add a little bit blue so that it's a more natural gray, but remember that it never had to be blue because we are in a cavern with torches. The gray is not very bluish, but our eyes understand it as gray. For this purpose, we are going to give it some light, with a color close to the white, but not white. I use an skin tone to desaturate the metal and give it more grayish look and maintain its quality. Now we paint the edges for the armor. What I have done has been to put different colors to give a metallic look. Even now you can put white, but always you have paint the edges. For the belt, it's not necessary to create a texture on this material, but you have to create more information in the miniature. Remember, how much more information you put on it, the more difference there will be with other miniatures. Once it begins to take shape, we move to the head. The most important thing is the hair. That's why I wanted to see the fur first. We're using the same techniques as we used it before. Being a black color, if we put a lot of contrast, it will look more red or blue. Please, the hair is neither blue or brown. It has nuances, but it will be never blue all over. Also remember, the ambient is in a cavern with torches, and the blue don't fix it. Using the same technique as before, we'll create all the tuff. Remember that the hair is never made it one by one. You could say that it's an illustration effect, or at least looks like it. If the volume of the hair is drawn first, then we need to add small nuances of the brightness. We reduce the areas to get small nuances of brightness. You know, with red and orange to reflect the light of the torches. Once we have arrived here, before we start with airbrush, we will remember that we need to paint all the details and things like that. In that case, I forgot to paint the rivets using the previous gray. We start with the airbrush to smooth the brush strokes. In the following videos, you will see more closely the part of the airbrush. It couldn't be now because the video was recorded. I've only extended a little bit longer, but you'll see it soon. We add a little red inks to tint the boots. Basically, with this it allows us to enhance the orange of the tapes. This is the summary of the last Barbarian video. I hope you get very good results and encourage you to send me all your pictures. The next video will be the shark. By the way, see you soon!